Wednesday. We'll talk about that tournament, talk about the seeding, where every team, when every team is going to play throughout this week and leading into the big tournament next week. Spring football in the air. Auburn practice number 3 today. Alabama announces their schedule. They will begin March the 20th, going through April 21st is when their spring football game will be. College baseball continuing to forge on. Auburn still undefeated. They're in UAB, or in Birmingham this evening playing UAB. Alabama having a much better season this year than it did last year. Brad Bohannon doing a great job there. Softball teams as well. SEC season begins this weekend. Auburn is in Baton Rouge to take on LSU. I am not quite sure who Alabama opens with. We might look that up.
I'll let you know in a minute.
Yeah.
Look, it's kind of hard. I mean, no offense. It's kind of hard to get into college baseball right now, right? I mean, you've got spring football starting. You've got college basketball hitting the time of year that everybody starts to pay attention. And we're supposed to be invested in college baseball right now, a sport that's got, I mean, how many games do you play? 60?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of games, and it's hard to be invested in that right now.
It is, especially before SEC season.
Walking Dead started again. I mean, I got too many things going on.
Yeah, I'm way behind on Walking Dead too. So no spoilers, please. Luke, you were in Birmingham last week for the Alabama High School Athletic Association, the finals, men's, boys, and girls. You called how many games?
I called 11.
11 games. Tell me about them.
Well, that's a good segue. I saw the best basketball game I've ever seen. I've played basketball all my life. The
best
basketball
game
I've coached
you have ever
youth
seen.
Basketball. I've been to, I mean, literally countless basketball games, high school, college, pro, semi-pro, played and pickup, done all these different things. And if you play and watch and are a part of enough basketball, you'll see some unbelievable things that you think you'll never see. I've never seen anything like I saw between Hillcrest, Evergreen, and Plainview. Never seen anything like that.
What classification is this?
3A boys. It's for a state championship, and you want to talk about two teams that left everything they could possibly give on the court. And I couldn't have been any prouder. It's a shame one of them had to lose, but one of them did, and that was Hillcrest Evergreen. And it was on a three-point shot by Caden Milliken, a junior, in the corner to win the game by 1. And literally, the ball is going through the net as the buzzer sounds. It couldn't have been. It's the only way that game could have ended is something like that. Had he missed the shot, that game wouldn't have been the best game I ever saw. But he hit the shot. I mean, and I don't mean that as a fan of Plainview and anti-Hillcrest Evergreen. I'm saying either team winning that way is how it needed to end.
Not a miss.
One player for Hillcrest Evergreen scored 44. Caden Milliken scored 37. That's in basically 4.5 periods because of 4-minute overtime. They played 32 minutes of regular basketball, and then they played the 4 minutes of overtime. It's hard to score that many points in high school basketball, 37 or 44. And a player came off the bench for Hillcrest Evergreen that he might have played 1 minute in the regular stanza. In overtime, he comes in, he makes a huge block, and then gets a huge rebound. I mean, he came in and immediately contributed, and it was unbelievable. There was one player that was 1 of 11 from beyond the arc, and then he hits a huge one in overtime. It wasn't the game winner, but he hits a huge one. It turns out I interviewed Robbie Coker, the head coach for Plainview, the other day, or yesterday, I should say, for Inside the HSA. And he told me some more about Caden Milliken, that he speaks 3 languages. He plays the piano and the saxophone and the flute and the harmonica and yada, yada. I think he's like just a multi-talented kid. Right. And he mentioned that he's homeschooled, but obviously he plays for Plainview. And he's just he was still on cloud 9, obviously. I mean, it's the first state championship ever for that community in Rainsville. And just really, I've got chills talking about it because it is one of those things that I'll never, ever forget. And to be a broadcaster there, look, there are a lot of games where I broadcast. I either do color or play-by-play. And I don't know how many. I'm going to say I've done 150, 200 of them since I've been doing this with the HSA Radio Network. And probably maybe over 200, I'm going to say. Because it's been over 10 years. And, there's some games you trudge through. And there's some games you go, man, I'm just not getting paid enough. To trudge through this absolute whooping that this one team is so dominant and the other team, mailed it in before the opening tip or the opening kickoff or whatever. This game, I should have paid everybody to be able to have the seats I had. And it was, couldn't be any happier for the people of Plainview, the students and the fans, and they were just ecstatic. And Hillcrest Evergreen had absolutely nothing to hold their head down about. And that was the beauty of it, is I don't feel like they did that. They were down for a second, obviously, just the shock of it all. But there's some other teams that when they get that red map, the second place trophy, they go up there and they're just in tears and they can't believe it. And I've always believed part of that, usually, is that they feel like I didn't do enough. I could have done just a little bit more. I think everybody on that Hillcrest team knew I gave everything I had. They hit a shot with no time left to win by one, and congratulations. And if you give your best and do all you can, you hold your head up, and I think all the people did. It was just, I can't say enough good things about it. And then, of course, there was another game later between Sylacauga and Eufaula that was just as good. It wasn't just as good, but it was close. Mm-hmm. I saw maybe the most dominant team I've ever seen in this thing, and that's Mountain Brook. Holy cow. If they don't have Trenton Watford, who is a top 10 junior nationally, they still are a threat to win 7A. But when you put him on that team, they're literally unstoppable.
And who do they beat? They beat...
oh, gosh, why would you even... they beat McGill-Tulane. Because McGill-Tulane played boys and girls. And they got crushed in both of them, unfortunately for them. But again, it's a proud moment just to make it that far. Mountain Brook is they're a machine, man. I mean, they are, and we talked about this on the broadcast, they're reminiscent of Saban and Alabama in that every year they're there, and you think every year, okay, it's going to be hard to duplicate what we're doing, but they keep bringing in guys who have bought into the culture, into the system, and they don't care how many points they score. They go out there, they'd rather play defense. I heard something about Coach Bucky McMillan's teams that in practice, if they're supposed to have taken a charge, like if they're scrimmaging and they should have taken a charge and somebody doesn't, they all have to take charges. Like line up and take charges. However many charges it takes to drill it into their heads, you have to take charges. And what happens on the first offensive play of the game for McGill? They draw a charge. I think they drew 4 or 5 that game. It's a lot of charges, man.
Yeah. Well, that's good defense. I mean, being in position. And that's not easy to do. I mean, drawing a charge, there's an art to it. Randy, talked about a lot of the guys that he saw during the week that he was really impressed with. Anybody just jump off the page to you?
Trenton Watford. Trenton Watford for sure jumped off the page. He's remarkable.
He's a junior?
Jaquan Walton. He's a junior. And Jaquan Walton is a junior. Jaquan Walton at Carver Montgomery, they win a state championship, and he is a high flyer, man. He's going to be tough. That whole team is full of athletes. I think Kobe Bradley, the player who scored 44 points for Hillcrest Evergreen, he stood out to me. That's a very, very good player. Caden Milliken, only a junior too. The junior class in Alabama is disgusting. I mean, it's really good for next year. Kyra Lewis was there, but he didn't get past the semifinals, and he's a good player. I mean, the junior class in the state of Alabama is going to be as good of a class as we've seen in quite some time. And we're going to see a lot of these teams. Man, there were some teams that were playing 8th graders and freshmen, and you just wonder who's going to stop them. How are you going to stop some of these guys? And the answer is you're not. Because Mountain Brook brings back Leora Berman, and they bring back Trenton Watford, and there are several other juniors on this team. Stramaglia, he's coming back. Who's going to beat them? Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody may beat them in a regular season game, and it may even be one of those things that's a win for them in the long run because it'll maybe give them an edge again. But nobody's going to beat them in the playoffs. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And this is how many championships now for
I think it's 4 out of 6 years.
4 out of 6 years. Mountain Brook, congratulations.
And
to
who
them.
would have thunk it,
Yeah, really. Well, we are up against our first break here on Sports Blitz Live. We'll come back. We'll talk about these things and much more. Be sure to join us. More to come. Presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Don't go away.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. At Main Street Family Urgent Care, we want you to know one of the benefits of our clinic. We have a self-pay option that allows you to get the most out of your visit. That means you don't have to worry about receiving a large bill after your visit. $125 covers all in-house labs, stitches, x-rays, or injections, and we have a selection of antibiotics available in the clinic. We want you to feel better fast at Main Street Family Urgent Care, open 7 days a week in Alexander City across the street from Walmart. Feel better fast.
So Dave here is taking the family up to the lake for the weekend, but without the white knuckles this time. Because his new 2018 Ford F-150 has Blitz with trailer coverage. It's Brainiac smart. Not only does it watch your F-150's blind spots, it's got your trailer covered too. One less thing to spoil the weekend. No, it can't make the fish bite, but maybe they'll work on that. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Ready to put some fun in your life? Whether it's Central or East Alabama, North Alabama, West Georgia, or wherever you're from, Fun Carts of Opelika is your authorized E-Z-GO cart dealer that has no limits on a perfect E-Z-GO cart. Whether it's a fully customized cart or a stock-made cart, we'll deliver it on time and at the best price. Fun Carts gives you the service after the sale, so no matter if it's hunting, tailgating, motorhoming, fleet rental, or just a better way to get around, Fun Carts of Opelika has it and will customize it to your needs. Visit us in Opelika or call us or visit online for the best E-Z-GO carts. Put a little fun in your life with Fun Carts of Opelika.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you until 9 o'clock this evening. Taking your phone calls, 256-234-6221. If you got anything you'd like to talk about this evening, or if you're joining us on Facebook Live, you can just comment away. We'll respond to those as well. The SEC basketball postseason awards come out today, as well as the AP voting on those. Some interesting selections there. Rick Barnes, head coach of Tennessee, sweeps the Coach of the Year with the SEC voting, coaches voting, and the AP voting as well over Bruce Pearl. The first team selections, not an Auburn player among them. In the SEC voting, Colin Sexton, Bryce Brown, Jared Harper all make the second team all SEC in as far as SEC coaches are voting. In the AP awards, Bryce Brown and Colin Sexton were both first team selections. Jared Harper and Mustafa Heron make the second team in the AP. Mustafa Heron does not make the coaches in the SEC basketball awards. Just initially, Luke, when you look at this, what do you say?
Well, first, I think the most egregious problem with this is that Mustafa Heron didn't make first or second team coaches. You don't want to put him first team, okay? I mean, I think you could make that argument and whatever. But I definitely would put him on the second team if you're not going to put him on the first. And I might put him on the first. I would have probably put two of those three guys on the first, and you could have sold me on either, and then put the other one on the second. That's fine. Not having him on the second, I think, is I don't know. It's a statement by the coaches, and I don't know if it was against Bruce Pearl per se. I don't know if it was against Heron per se. I don't get it though. I don't understand, especially when you consider that each team has 8 players on it. Like, I don't know how you leave them off with that. As far as Pearl not winning Coach of the Year, look, Barnes did a good job too, and I think
fantastic.
And I think coming down the stretch, Tennessee did more. And look, just hear me out. This isn't Bammer speak. I'm trying to reason this out. That if you want to step back and say, okay, how could this happen? You could say Barnes' team was predicted to finish worse than Auburn's. They were. Even though I think it's kind of silly to base it on where you were predicted, because they don't know. Writers don't know. And you don't know what teams have year to year because everybody's got so much turnover. Yeah. So it's hard to predict anything. You vote Kentucky number 1, and then the rest is just throw some teams out there and see what happens. And then I would also say if you look at Auburn's schedule, especially the non-conference, it's really bad. But then in the conference, Auburn played Kentucky once. They played the best teams. They played Kentucky once. They played Tennessee once. Played A&M once. Give me another team.
Florida.
Florida once. They played all the best teams one time. They didn't have a shot to do the back-to-back. Now, I know they went to Tennessee and won. That was the first game of the year. I'd be willing to bet if they played that game at the end of the year, I'd feel pretty good about Tennessee's chances. Again, I'm trying to reason this out. I would have voted Bruce Pearl. I would have. However, I think coaches have long memories. I think the coaching fraternity is not unlike another, firemen hang out together, policemen hang out together, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes when you violate some of those tacit codes, people hold it against you. And I think that's what's happened here. I think. I don't really know. I just think that's what happened here. As far as Mustafa Heron being left off, I don't have an explanation. I would not have left him off. I would have put either Bryce Brown, Mustafa Heron, or Jared Harper, 2 of those guys on my first team and 1 of those guys on my second team. That's what I would have done. The coaches saw it differently. I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's interesting. I certainly thought that Bruce Pearl would probably kind of be a runaway. If anything, you'd have co-coaches of the year. But, I mean, look, Rick Barnes, again, he did a fantastic job. But they also voted Grant Williams the player of the year. And if you've got the player of the year, you've got defensive somebody on the all-defense team as well.
He doesn't know.
Well, he does on the
if he does on AP, you don't have it on this sheet.
I don't have it on there. What am I? The sixth man of the year,
okay.
Lamonte Turner.
He's from Alabama, by the way.
Okay, well.
But anyway, I see your point there. It's sort of like a catch-22.
And, did he lose 3 players? Did he lose 3 of his best players?
No. Forget the 3 of your best players thing. Forget that. Because I could make the argument that if Wiley and Purifoy were out there, I don't know that the chemistry would be the same. Auburn couldn't have done any better with Wiley and Purifoy.
But I mean,
believe
7 scholarship players.
Well, I know one of them was lost with 3 games to go, though. I mean, so let's not go nuts with this. I mean, he had 8, and they were all pretty doggone good, and they all played a lot. An 8-man rotation is not bad.
4 or 5 games left.
How many? With
got
Alabama, it was Alabama,
South Carolina,
Florida, and Arkansas. I guess 4 games left.
Yeah.
So we were both wrong. Let's go with that.
Well, there's still some games to play.
There's still some games, but I mean, they've already voted. They
I
can't.
understand.
They can't. Be a predictor here. Again, I told you during the break, I think this is good for Auburn. This is where Auburn thrives. They thrive on being the underdog, on being disrespected, and yada, yada, yada. And all this is going to be is fuel to the flame for Bruce Pearl. And Auburn's going to use this, and I think they could make a little run in this tournament. Now, it's going to be tough with 7 scholarship players, 3 games in 3 days. And the SEC, you got a lot of teams that are going to be fighting really hard. I mean, A&M, Alabama, you played the winner of that game, and both those teams need victories.
Yes.
And A&M's probably in. Alabama needs victories badly. And then, surprise, you get Kentucky on Saturday probably if you get by Alabama and A&M. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough out. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. Unless Auburn wins it, they're not going to improve their seed, I don't think. Getting to a championship game doesn't make them a 2 seed. I think Auburn's a 3. Even if they lose game 1, and it's not that big of a deal. And I think all of this will calm down. They make mistakes all the time. And coaches, when you give coaches the power to do these things, they're human. They can't help but hold grudges.
Do you think this is more spite than oversight?
Yes, 100%. I mean, I do. Again, is that being a conspiracy theory?
Do you think that's because of the FBI investigation?
I think it's because I think Bruce's peers. I mean, I know this is going to be hard because I'm looking at it from another perspective. Alabama and Nick Saban, I'm like, how do you not like Saban? And everybody seems to hate him.
Yeah.
I think everybody hates Bruce Pearl, but y'all, and y'all can't see it because he's brought all this success this year.
And if he was at their school, they would
that's probably true. Yeah. That's not probably true. It is true. But I'm saying if you take a step back and try not to be an Alabama fan who's going to hate who's ever coaching Auburn, or an Auburn fan who's going to love whoever's coaching Auburn, and you say, well, he was on the staff at Boston College with the point fixing thing, right? And then he did get in trouble at Tennessee and had a show cause. Was he there? I mean, so you just think now wait a minute. I'm just saying you think it's totally coincidence that he's been to all these different places and there's been a little something every time.
I think that it's a coincidence that he was at Boston College.
Okay. I mean, again, that's
I don't think
what I'm
he's
saying.
in the mafia.
But I'm saying if you are a Massachusetts fan or a UCLA fan, you say it's kind of weird that he's with all these places and there's always something. And now he's at his number 1 assistant. He doesn't know anything about any of this. I mean, again, I'm just trying to show you the other side.
Some people are born in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, always.
Up against the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Fall in love with the ultimate driving machine and lease a BMW X1 for only $319 a month at BMW of Columbus. See our selection of the all-new BMW X3 or X5 SAV. And loyal BMW customers receive up to $5,500 in incentives from BMW of Columbus.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Farnell Mechanical gives you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable.
Trust Farnell Mechanical to provide perfect air for your family.
What perfect feels like. Lennox.
Homeowners all over Alabama have discovered that when you need your flooring clean, whether it's carpet, upholstery, or any manner of hard surfaces, there's no clean like Peaches and Clean. Serving Auburn, the Chattahoochee Valley, Montgomery, Birmingham, and the Lake Martin area. Call 866-837-6937, 866-837-6937, or visit peachesandclean.com. Caring for your floor and a whole lot more.
There's no clean like Peaches and Clean.
TPE Power Equipment is now the trusted name for all your mower and power equipment needs. Whether it's our original Tallahassee location or Opelika location on Fredericks Road, we've got East Alabama covered with the best brands of mowers and power equipment from Husqvarna, Toro, Kawasaki, Echo, and Honda. Right now, get commercial strength Husqvarna zero-turn mowers with our fleet program that offers deep discounts, easy finance, and bonus handheld equipment in one solid package. TPE of Opelika and Tallahassee are the new standard of everything power equipment in East Alabama.
Good night, boss.
See ya.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
When you're a business owner, your mind is always on the job.
Anything before I go?
All set.
So is ours. At Frankenmuth Insurance, our independent agents work with you to customize coverage, improve safety, and help prevent losses. Let us take some of the work off your plate. Start a frank conversation with your local agent.
The most anticipated event of the year going on now. The Nissan Now sales event at Sarah Nissan Sylacauga. New 2018 Nissan Versa, $10,988, or a new 2017 Titan 4x4, $24,950. Sarah Nissan Sylacauga. Customers first.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Advanced Heating and Air, your authorized East Central Alabama train dealer. Call Advanced Heating and Air. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you for an hour and a half longer, taking your phone calls 256-234-6221 or taking your comment on Facebook Live. The SEC tournament begins in St. Louis, Missouri at Scottrade Arena on Wednesday. The first round, it'll be Georgia and Vanderbilt, South Carolina and Ole Miss as the bottom four seeds. Alabama and will take on Texas A&M in the first round. Auburn gets a double bye. They will take on the winner of Texas A&M and Alabama. Jerry Palm says Alabama, don't bother with them right now. They're not in. What do you say?
I mean, again, I say I wouldn't put them in. I want Alabama in the tournament. I wouldn't put them in right now. I don't see how you do. I mean,
how many do they need to win to get in?
I mean, I think if they beat A&M, they have a shot, a decent shot. And if they beat A&M and Auburn, they're in. But that I go back to the reasons this tournament is a little nutty. And, you know, everybody loves it and everybody loves March Madness, but it's not the best way to crown a champion the way we do it. And why are Georgia and Vandy and South Carolina and Ole Miss even involved? Let me go back to that. These Wednesday games, why do they have a shot? We've seen them all year. All year long, we have a huge sample size to say, y'all aren't national championship worthy. Yet we still have to give them a shot in this tournament. Mm-hmm. And I would say the same thing if Alabama were in that bottom four. They have been in that bottom four. And it's really just a waste of everybody's time. I mean, it's fine in the sense that the SEC can make more money because that's what it's all about. We all know, but it's just kind of silly that we have to sit through the number 13 seed playing the number 12 seed. Who's going to come out on top, Andy? I mean, it's kind of silly.
Well, I mean, that's the take a page from SEC baseball. You know, the bottom teams don't make the SEC tournament.
I'd be totally fine with that. Why not? And I think what it also does, it gives everybody incentive. I mean, not that you don't already have some, but at the end of the year, you bust your hump not to be in one of those bottom four brackets, or else you don't even get to go to St. Louis.
Absolutely. I don't have a problem with it. That's fine. But as long as they're going to offer up that SEC tournament champion an opportunity to get into the big tournament, I mean, it's incentive that at least it's, you know, the tournament means something to those teams. They
they've got a chance to do something that they couldn't do in the regular season.
And then what happens? Again,
Somebody's
going to
get
the flaw
knocked
in
out.
this system. If Vandy or Ole Miss gets super duper hot and wins the tournament, they're going to knock out an at-large team that deserved to be there. So again,
they're going to knock out somebody that's on the bubble anyway.
Or they'll knock out a St. Mary's who only lost 5 games or some. It's a bad way to do this, and nobody will admit it because we're all caught up with this March Madness. And look, I'm going to watch it. I'm a basketball fan. I just can't stand it when people love to take shots at football in their playoff system. And I say, hey, this one's pretty messed up too.
Who's the favorite in this tournament right now, in your opinion?
Well, I'd put Tennessee right there, but I think Arkansas also ought to be in the conversation. I think this tournament is as wide open as it could be in the sense that your number 1 seed is playing with 7 scholarship players and has lost 2 of their last 3. Your number 2 seed got beat by 28 by Alabama. Who's your number 3 seed? Is it
Kentucky?
Kentucky? They're 3 seed. Kentucky is obviously flawed.
Got hammered by Florida last
and they
night.
lost to Tennessee twice. Lost to Florida twice. I could make the argument Texas A&M is as talented as anybody out there, and they're a 9 seed. So, and we can't forget that Texas A&M started out, I think, 0-5 in the league, but they had a lot of injuries and suspensions right when the league started. So I think this team could be turned around. Although they played a close one against Alabama at A&M, they didn't look that great against the Tide. So
yeah. Got a dark horse?
I mean, A&M.
A&M.
Yeah, that would be my dark horse.
Yeah.
Not Alabama, A&M for sure.
Tennessee or Arkansas, that's your hottest team.
Arkansas probably.
I would say
you get the big win over Auburn. They got a big win over Kentucky, a big win at Alabama when Alabama needed it. So, yeah, I feel like Arkansas is probably the hottest team.
And having kicked off one of their senior players.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just roll in, ain't it?
That's what I go back to. Sometimes addition by subtraction. Chemistry can be affected in so many different ways, and talent doesn't always – the most talent doesn't always equal the best team.
The coldest got to be Alabama.
I mean, come on. It's a no contest, right? I mean, I assume we're leaving out your Vandys and your Ole Misses. Ole Miss probably – Alabama's losing streak may be longer, but, I think Ole Miss is the longest shot to win this thing.
I would agree with that. Avery not in any trouble, right?
I think he's in trouble in the sense that he's lost some of the fan base, and you get to that tipping point with a fan base, and I think Gus Malzahn's experience is.
Is this year 3 or 4?
This is year 3.
Okay.
So, and that's a lot of people who believe in Avery are pointing to Bruce Pearl and saying, you see the trajectory here. It took him 3 years, and then on that 4th year, some things turned around. But some things are different for Avery. Maybe he'll have, if a bunch of guys come back, I think he could have the same trajectory. But Alabama's going to play a difficult schedule on the front side again, so they might not have the chance to get on that roll Auburn got on, which I think playing an easy schedule this year in the non-conference was a great idea for Auburn. It looked bad at first, like how are you going to – but then it gave them time to develop. If they had played a couple of tough teams and maybe been blown out by a Michigan or somebody, that may have affected the whole thing. Instead, it gave them momentum going into the comp. Be fine, but on the court coaching, I don't know. But to answer your question, no, I don't think he's going anywhere this year.
No. Alabama probably needs these wins the most of any of these teams, I would guess. Are they the ones squarely? Missouri, it would certainly help them.
I'd say. Yeah, Alabama probably needs it the most, even though it's funny. Jerry Palm, who a lot of people point to as the bracketologist, says Alabama's not even in the discussion. 3 other guys have them in right now.
Lenardi's got them at the play-in in that 11 seed.
So, but now if they lose to A&M, it's probably all – you can't get in there with a 6-game losing streak. Even as an Alabama fan, I'm like, come on. Have some dignity. So I think I would say Vandy or Ole Miss or LSU or South Carolina or Georgia and Mississippi State
could play their way in.
I would say Mississippi State needs to win this tournament. I don't think Mississippi State can get in without winning.
Yeah.
They just don't have – they are one of the teams Their non-conference schedule may have been worse than Auburn's, and they developed some chemistry, but they didn't do enough in the regular season, in the conference season, to make up for it. They've beaten nobody.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. We'll continue this discussion. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gills. Selection and price, got to get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills. Cars that fit your budget. Service that no one around can beat. Stop by today and test drive the vehicle of your dreams. Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you, gotta get to Gills. Selection and price, gotta get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills.
With the boat season winding down and the weather getting cooler, it's time to let Alex City Marine on Cherokee Road and winterize your boat and get ready for the off-season. The good guys can make all your off-season repairs, winterization, and upgrades easy and on budget. Remember, now's the best time for used boat prices and selection, and you can even pre-order next year's Landau pontoons and quality Suzuki outboards to get the perfect fit for next spring. Service, sales, and value all this off-season at the place the locals know, Alex City Marine. And don't forget to order your 2018 Manitou pontoons now.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
At A&M Plumbing, you can count on us for dependable, quality service. Our staff is professional, neat, clean, and courteous. We're a fully licensed and insured plumbing company. Call on A&M Plumbing for any plumbing, sewer, or septic problems. We provide a comprehensive line of plumbing repair and installation services to keep your home's plumbing systems in top order. When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing. Service at its best, when you need it most.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
New year, new you.
It's the Start Something New sales event going on now at Bice Motors in Alex City.
It's cold outside,
but the deals are hot inside.
Save up to $13,000 on remaining 2017 Ram 1500 Crew Cab Laramie 4x4.
If you ain't happy,
ain't nobody happy.
2018 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Package, only $19,700.
On the web at BiceChryslerDodge.com.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Go ahead and be thinking about your all-time starting five for Alabama and Auburn. Luke and I are going to talk about that in this segment, in the next couple of segments. But I think if Ryan, if he's willing, we're going to queue up the Sports Blitz Players of the Week.
Oh, is he okay? Is that what we're going to do?
I thought we were going to do that.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that.
We're going to do that?
Well,
okay.
Let's start with the LMG Lee Marketing Group River Region Player of the Week, and that is Jaquan Walton, who I mentioned earlier. He finished with 20 points, including a trio of impressive dunks, and was named the MVP as the Wolverines won the 6A state championship.
The Talladega County Player of the Week, presented by Concrete, was Malik Crawford from Sylacauga. He had 20 points and 10 rebounds to lead the Aggies to the 5A state title with a 79-78 victory over Eufaula.
The Lee Apparel East Alabama Player of the Week is Maury Davenport from Charles Henderson. And I don't think these stats are correct from the championship game, but I know this. She was incredible. She just missed a triple-double with 17 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 block shots. She also had 4 steals and was named MVP as the Lady Trojans captured this 5A title. I think those stats may have been from her semifinal game, because in the championship game, I think she did have a triple-double. And I think she had a triple-double the year before, too, in the semifinals. Wow. I mean, she's ridiculous.
Lake Martin Player of the Week, presented by Sign Source, is Mallory Meadors from Dadeville. Meadors pitched a 3-inning perfect game for the Lady Tigers as they run-ruled Bullock County 20-0 Friday night. Not close.
Not very close at all. Russell Building Supply and Russell Do It Center AHSA Radio Network Player of the Week is Annie Hughes from Pisgah. The Class 3A Finals MVP and an Auburn commit finished with 28 points, 15 boards, and 4 block shots as the Eagles knocked off Lauderdale County in what was a great game.
The Lee County Player of the Week, presented by Quinn Harrelson with Interleap Mortgage Services, Alexis Browning from Opelika. She led the Lady Bulldogs with 13 points in a losing effort in the 6A state semifinals. Congratulations to each and every one of the Sports Blitz Players of the Week.
Jeremy Kelly chimed in when talking about Auburn's starting 5. Don't forget John Kaler. How can I forget John Kaler? He had the backside of Beyonce. From the waist down, he looked like Charles Barkley. From the waist up, he was pretty average. I mean, he looked like regular pickup dude.
And he had
but
a
he also had
mustache.
He had a mustache. He had a cheese duster
and he hit a huge
Joe Dirt would be proud of
against Kentucky in Lexington.
Yeah.
Last time Auburn won there, I guess.
He was a pretty good shooter. He wasn't a bad player at all. But no, he wouldn't make the starting 5 for Auburn.
Probably not. He would not make the starting 5. No.
You want to go into it now or go to break?
Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and just kick the ball a little bit here and let you start thinking about your top 5 Alabama starting 5.
I don't know what kick the ball means. Are we punting?
Kicking it around a little bit.
Oh, kicking it around. So you want me to talk about it?
Reference.
We're not going to. Okay, don't give me soccer references. Well, when it comes to Auburn, I think it is pretty easy, and so we'll get to that in a minute. When it comes to Alabama, I've written down a few names here. Enos Watley, Jerry Harper. Jerry Harper was from the 50s, but he holds a bazillion Alabama records.
Is Hollywood somewhere in the
Hollywood Robinson's on there. Let me tell you something, man. Hollywood was disgusting when he was on. I mean, he was filthy. He was magical. Robert Ory, and again,
where do you put Bob, at center or forward?
Or he could have played any position he wanted to. And I've told this story a million times, but when I first started getting into recruiting, Robert Ory was in the 1988 Sporting News, and this is before all the big recruiting reports and obviously before the internet. And the Sporting News called him the most overrated recruit in the country from Andalusia. And of course, you know what he did. Antonio McDyess, I think, will be on that list. Even though McDyess only played 2 years, man, if he had stayed at Alabama another year, my goodness, the game he had, I think it was against Penn in the NCAA tournament. I mean, 20 some odd points and 18 rebounds or something crazy. Terry Connor is an option. Bobby Lee Hurt from the 70s. Derek McKee, gosh, he was smooth. And I think I've said this quote on before. Nate McMillan, when he played with Derek McKee for the Supersonics, he had a quote that I still don't understand but somehow makes sense. Because Derek McKee was kind of the strong, silent type. He said, man, Derek McKee is so cool, he could be cussing you out and you wouldn't even know it. And I was thinking, okay, that blows my mind, and I kind of get it at the same time. Keith Askins, I don't think he'd make this team, but he's kind of like you talked about Bryant Smith being on Auburn's team. Keith Askins would be a pretty good sixth
guy
man.
you want on the team.
Latrell Sprewell and Leon Douglas. Those are the names that I've come up with. I mean, Mo Williams, you could make an argument. Erwin Dudley, I suppose you could make an argument. I wouldn't put those guys in this caliber.
No Richie Farmer on there.
I ain't putting Jim Farmer on there. Farmer was good at Alabama.
Yeah.
He wasn't on this list. But if I had to narrow it down to 5, let me tell you something. I'd have to put McKee on the list just from my own, just because I loved him so much growing up. I'd have to put Robert Ory on the list because he's such a winner. I'd probably put Hollywood on the list because, okay, if you want a dynamic scorer. And then I'm probably putting Enos Watley on there. And then what? I mean, some part of me says I got to put Jerry Harper, but I don't know.
No Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers, I tell you what, again,
he
he's not a
swat
terrible
a spot.
option. And he's probably has more triple doubles than anybody in Alabama history. And Latrell Sprewell. You put Sprewell on that list with them. You give me Sprewell and Hollywood on the same squad.
There's only one basketball now.
I know. That's why I'm saying I might put Roy Rogers on there.
Yeah, you need somebody that
just swats and rebounds.
That's a pretty good starting 5.
It's not bad, but this Alabama's starting 5 it's very reminiscent to me when you do these Alabama-Auburn things. I mean, there's nobody in Alabama's history of football that is, I guess, Joe Namath, but nobody's resonated like Bo Jackson. Like Joe Namath has survived through the decades, but he's not looked at as athletic as him, obviously. He transcended sports. Bo did too in his own way, but for the most part, people remember Bo as a badass athlete. They remember Joe Namath because his star shined bright, and he was and for trying to kiss Susie Colbert. He was a great QB too, don't get me wrong, but and then you think about Auburn starting 5, and you're going to put, Charles Barkley's in the top 50 of all time. He just hosted Saturday Night Live, for God's sakes. You're going to put the Person brothers on there. Like, that's a cool couple of guys to have on there. Maybe Chuck not so much anymore. But
let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back. We'll look at the Auburn starting 5, all-time starting 5. Who's yours? More to come on this edition of Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Clearing out all the 2017 models at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. Payments as low as $199 per month and 2 years of free maintenance with every Nissan purchase now through September 30th. But only at Lynch Nissan. Shop now at lynchnissan.com. Got your eye on a new Nissan? Get to Lynch Nissan of Auburn right now for your best deal. Save up to $8,500 off MSRP. Plus, get 2 years free maintenance on every new Nissan now through September 30th. Exclusively at lynchnissan.com.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems with zero down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for zero down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
At U.S. Ameribank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. Ameribank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. Ameribank difference. U.S. Ameribank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Bezlo's Cafe and Bar is Lake Martin's newest sensation destination. Bezlo's is located in the heart of downtown Eclectic and has ridiculously good food that you can't get anywhere else. With gourmet pizzas, 42 beers, 20 different wines, and as well as the lake's best seafood and steaks. Bezlo's has billiards, darts, cornhole, and more. Plus, karaoke every Thursday night and live music on the weekends. Join us for happy hour from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. for $2 domestics or $3 wells. Bezlo's Cafe.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
What's different about Hyundai of Auburn? Beautiful cars built here from parts made here. That's jobs and tax money.
And right now, Max, record low finance plans. 0% interest and $42.50 cash to spend with no budget busting repairs for a full 10 years. Drive a new Hyundai today. Check it out, HyundaiofAuburn.com.
And my Max Markdown deals. Tell them Max sent you. I might get a bonus.
Max, you're not real.
What?
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alex City. Satterfield is the Lake Martin area's big green egg and accessories headquarters.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. One more segment in the first hour of tonight's program. Talking about the all-time starting five. Saturday Down South is doing an all-time starting five for each SEC team. They've done Florida and South Carolina. A lot of those guys from those two back-to-back national championship teams on those Florida starting five: Joakim Noah, Al Horford, Corey Brewer, I think Mike Miller, and who was the point guard? It wasn't Dan Cross, but it was...
Oh, Scotty Wilbekin.
Scotty Wilbekin.
I mean,
yeah.
which I think that's kind of ridiculous. You go back, man, they forget about Vernon Maxwell.
Yeah.
They forget about, I'll tell you somebody who's pretty good, Dwayne Cinchas. And the point guard they had there, and whose name I can't remember, God, they had a good team that year. Because that was the year Alabama won the SEC, and Florida came in second. Alabama and Florida played twice that year, and both times went to overtime. In Gainesville, Florida ended up winning by 10, and in Tuscaloosa, Alabama won on a tip-in. And then they were destined to play each other in Atlanta for the SEC championship, and LSU upset Florida, like very randomly, and that's what LSU did back then in those days with Dale Brown as the head coach, and they always did stuff like that, like tanked it in the regular season, and then come tournament time they turned it up a notch. So
when I look at all-time starting five for Auburn, you look at the center position, and there just have not been a lot of good centers come through Auburn. Mamadou Njai may have been the best one that I've ever seen. Certainly, Jeremy said nobody packed your lunch like Mamadou. I do remember that signing.
Yeah.
Beard Eves as well. So, if I'm going down through and putting my top five together, I start with the best point guard that I saw play at Auburn. That'd be Doc Robinson.
Yeah.
John Mengelt, who I did not have the fortune to watch, but tremendous scorer back in the 60s. Chuck Person, despite his faults, still one of the greatest players ever in college basketball. Charles Barkley as well. I would put. You couldn't go wrong with Chris Morris, Wesley Person. I put Chris Porter in there just for his athleticism.
You put him in there for the one put back dunk against LSU.
The man elevated Auburn to a different level just with his athleticism and the way he could take over a game. I mean, he was just physically. I mean, he was that kind of player. So I would roll that five out there, and I put Wesley Person. I'd bring him off the bench as the sixth man.
Yeah, I'm putting both Person brothers on there, and I know Chuck. Look, this just dawned on me that Chris Porter got in trouble. Was ineligible, right? In the last
in
bit of his
2000,
career.
yeah.
Charles Barkley has admitted that he took money while he was at Auburn, but I mean, it was so long ago, nobody's going to do anything about it, and everybody already. I mean, why does it matter?
Yeah.
And then Chris Porter, FBI troubles. So 3 of the guys on your list, pretty nefarious in their own way, but still, Wesley Person to me is probably one of the more underappreciated players in SEC basketball history. He just had, when he would rise up, you just knew he was making it. If he had an inch and you weren't right in his face, he's nailing it. I can't imagine the 1A teams that had to play against Brantley, or they were either 1A or 2A. I can't imagine that. I mean, having to play against him. And I'll tell you somebody else that's probably underappreciated in Auburn history, and that's Keenan Carpenter. I saw Alabama play Auburn in Auburn Arena when Keenan Carpenter went off for 30-some-odd points. Now, Auburn lost the game, But I remember thinking, hey, we can't stop him. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, and he's small. He's a lot like that point guard for St. Joseph's who's still in the NBA now. Remember when St. Joe's had their little run? They were #1 seed. His name escapes me too. But I'll go back to Lance Weems just for a second since Jeremy brought him up. Lance Weems was the leading scorer in state history for a little while. I'll take that back. He was second leading scorer for a little while. He was played from 89 to 92, and he scored 3,660 points in his career. The leading all-time scorer now is, of course, Jeremy Monso, who is like a high school legend from Parkway Christian. He came over in the 8th grade playing at Parkway Christian, started the whole time and averaged about 40 points a game. Now, I mean, he was at Parkway Christian. He wasn't playing 7A ball, but still. And Frankie Sullivan is the second all-time leading scorer in state history.
Frankie and now suspended at Auburn as an assistant coach.
God knows. You're absolutely right. That didn't even. And Billy Ross is the #5 leading scorer in state history. So I mean, let me tell you something, man. Billy Ross, he was a muscular. He dunked so hard one time. I remember looking up and it was one of those moments when I looked up and he dunked and I was just close enough to it where I guess it counts as he dunked on me. And I remember being in 9th grade thinking, I need to reevaluate what sports I enjoy because that was pretty disgusting. So.
Yeah. I think we've all been there at one time or another. Some guy throws it off the backboard to himself and jumps over you to dunk it. And you think, this is not where I want to be right now.
Yeah, these are not the things I imagined. This isn't exactly the way I drew this up.
Not what he had in mind. But anyway.
But I think your starting 5, I mean, Doc Robinson, yes. I guess, John Mingold is your Jerry Harper. I mean, I think you got to put him on there. I mean, I'm just going to take everybody's word for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of, they're not exactly Pistol Pete Maravich, but kind of the same thing.
He's Auburn's version.
Yeah.
And speaking of Pistol Pete, they're talking about him on Saturday Down South too. It's still to this day, you go back and look, and he did in 3 years at LSU. The next closest person in the SEC history who played for 4 years, by the way, is 800 points behind him.
Good Lord.
As far as scoring. That only one person in SEC history has had 2,000 points in 4 years. He had 3,200, I think, in 3 years.
That's amazing.
I mean, he averaged 44.2 points for a career.
That's crazy.
That's a career, man.
Barkley's going on your list, though. And
Marquise Daniels was a pretty.
Marquise Daniels not bad, but I'm telling you what, I'm striking Chris Porter and putting Chris Morris on there. I thought Chris Morris was great, and I would even put Jeff Morris on this list before I put Chris Porter. Auburn had a series there for a while in the mid '80s, where they had your Barkleys and your Chris Morris and your Jeff Morris. Chuck Person, they had that
Frank
bunch
Ford.
of guys.
I mean, there was
Frank Ford. They had some guy, and there was a Gerald.
Not
Wallace.
No.
And then, by the way, Gerald Wallace didn't make my list. You saw that.
Yeah,
right?
I did.
Gerald Wallace, besides Ori, had the most esteemed career. He played in the league for like 14 years, but when he came to Alabama, he didn't do what a lot of people thought he would do, and he was only there 1 year. I mean, it's hard for me to put him on this list.
We are up against another break here. We'll come back with hour number 2 of Sports Blitz Live right after these messages.
What's 28 times better than a one-day sale? The President's Day event all month long at Sarah Honda Sylacauga. New 2018 HR-V LX or Civic Sedan LX, your choice. Only $189 a month at Sarah Honda Sylacauga. Customers first.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
At U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Lex Wedgeworth has been the most trusted pest control company for a generation, and now we're proud to announce our new name, EnviroCare. You can expect the same high standards for all your pest control needs, and EnviroCare's exclusive Centricon termite colony elimination system that provides the industry standard to protect your home or business. The EnviroCare Centricon termite protection protects your home year-round. Call the professionals of EnviroCare throughout Central East Alabama. Call for a free estimate. Nobody cares like EnviroCare, the next generation of full pest control for your home or business.
A1 Four Seasons, a division of Jackson Refrigeration, is Central Alabama's Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer. With the summer months approaching, the temperatures are rising, and so will your power bill if you don't have one of the latest 410A heat pumps. With R22 Freon prices on the rise, now is the time to make the switch to a new, more efficient unit that will save you hundreds of dollars on your yearly power bill. Call A1 Four Seasons at 256-234-4457.
And I know when I need it, I can count on you. Like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh.
You can count on the caring team at Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation. Our services include physical, speech, and occupational therapy. Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation, 256-329-9061.
What's 28 times better than a one-day sale? The President's Day event all month long at Sarah Honda Sylacauga. New 2018 HR-V LX or Civic Sedan LX, your choice. Only $189 a month at Sarah Honda Sylacauga. Customers first.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you until 9 o'clock, taking your phone calls, 256-234-6221, taking your comments as well. On Facebook Live, talked a lot about the SEC and NCAA tournament in the first hour. If you got any thoughts on those, by all means, continue that discussion, as well as your top 5 starting lineup for Alabama and Auburn. Who would you put on there? Who's in your all-time starting 5? Again, spring in the air, spring practice going on right now. It is in earnest on the plains at Auburn. Several guys from Auburn and Alabama at the NFL Combine as well. May talk about some of those numbers, as it looks like everybody did a pretty fair job. I think Deron Payne had a really impressive 40 time.
Yeah, he made some more money.
Yeah.
I mean, he had made money in the semifinals and the finals because he looked so good. And, like, in fact, I have it on pretty good authority, Deron Payne was coming back to Alabama before he blew up that way. And then it was one of those things where, like, I can't not go.
Yeah.
And so
Braden
I think
Smith, 35 reps with 225. That ain't bad.
Meanwhile, on the other side, how about Orlando Brown with Oklahoma? What, did he get like 10 reps or 8 reps of 225 and ran like a 5.8?
Ooh.
They said like and Baker Mayfield came out and defended him and said, look, just watch the tape. Nobody ever sacked me. But, I mean, NFL GMs are going to be like, we're running backs and wide receivers are doing more reps. And 5.8.
The kid with one hand did 20.
That's true. That guy, let me tell you something. I'm drafting him. I would draft him for the story alone. It is remarkable.
Yeah.
It really is.
But to say that, I mean, he went there and he said he had never done like more than 6 or 7.
He's a special kid, man. That's the only thing you can say.
You talk about some adrenaline flowing for that thing, and then he runs the fastest for a linebacker since 2003.
I mean,
he can fly.
He runs a 4.38 or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Well,
He's a great story.
He really is. Good for him. Talking about Damian Fishback, Jeremy said he'd probably make a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
He was Mr. Basketball in Kentucky. Yes, definitely. Does he wind up on Auburn's staff at some point? That's a good question. We'll see.
Why would you do that when you're an analyst right now, probably making at
But if
least
you want
as
to
much
become a
money?
head coach, I mean, you want to go down that route.
Perhaps.
Just some notes from Auburn spring practice today. Jordan Peters, sophomore defensive back, goes down with a leg injury at the beginning of practice. Tayshawn Manning, the guy who survived cancer, one of the two, Berdarius Ham and now Tayshawn Manning, apparently moving over to the offensive side, moving from defensive line to offensive guard. Nate Craig Myers in a non-contact jersey, as well as Will Hastings and Ryan Davis. Not surprisingly, those guys don't really have a lot to prove. But the first team offense looked like this: Malik Willis, Cam Martin at running back, Chandler Cox, Darius Slayton, Marquise McClain, Eli Stove, Prince Tega, Berdarius Ham, Caleb Kim, Mike Horton, and Calvin Ashley was your first team offensive line. First team defensive line: Marlon Davidson, Derek Brown, Dontavius Russell, and T.D. Moultrie. Deshaun Davis, Montavious Atkinson at the linebacker. Javaris Davis, Jordan Peters, Jeremiah Denson, Daniel Thomas, and Jamel Dean rounding it out. Joey Gatewood and Malik Willis are going to get the lion's share of the snaps this spring with Jared Harper, with Jarrett Stidham sitting it out with after he had his kind of shoulder cleaned up a little bit. But a lot of the talk has been around running back Jatarvis Whitlow. Chandler Cox said he's a cross between Kerryon Johnson and Cameron Petway. You saw him a lot in high school. What do you think? Could he make an SEC tailback?
Yeah, I guess. Do I believe he's a cross between Kerryon Johnson and Cam Petway? No. I mean, let's pump the brakes. I mean, again, everybody's always looking for something.
What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
is
what
that
it
Bo
is.
Jackson?
Is that somebody who gets hurt just a pretty good bit?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But I'll tell you, looking at this, I won't tell you my first thought. I'll tell you my second thought. My second thought was this defense is an SEC championship caliber defense. My first thought is I don't know that this offense, even if you put Stidham there, would finish third or fourth in the SEC West. I mean, I look at Auburn's offensive line, and I think there's some serious problems. I look at their defensive line, and I think that's the best defensive line in the conference. Their defensive line is sick. Their offensive line, they better get experience blocking that good defensive line because they're going to be facing some other good D lines, and they look to be some real big holes on this offense. And until it was put on paper like this, I didn't think about it. I love Deshaun Davis. I think he's the perfect Auburn linebacker, kind of undersized, always got a chip on his shoulder, always seems to make a play. Montavious Atkinson is very good to me. The secondary is good. It is good enough, certainly, and it's going to look even better when you have Marlon Davidson, Derek Brown, Dontavius Russell, and T.D. Moultrie. This is just the other side of the ball that is ironically going to be an issue, I think.
We'll see. I think they'll be much better prepared with J.B. Grimes coaching them than they were with Herb Hand. For whatever reason, we didn't seem to be prepared coming out of the gate at the beginning of the year. Now he's over in Texas, and he can be doing the same thing for them that he did for Auburn.
Preparing them equally as well.
Just as well. Jared Harper didn't have as many turnovers as Stidham.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, late in the year, that's true.
That is true.
Fumbles and interceptions were very, very costly down the stretch for Jared.
And again, Now, I can sing all the praise of the defensive line, but I think anybody can look at that defensive line and say they're going to be great. But I think it's a problem when you're moving Tayshawn Manning to offensive guard. I mean, he survived the cancer, but I mean, you've seen pictures of him. He didn't look like much of a guard last time I saw a picture of him.
No.
I may have grown into that, but if they're putting him at offensive guard on the second team, and he's second team right now, I consider that an issue, especially when you go back and look at what Auburn's recruited along the offensive line of late and say they hadn't brought in enough. They just hadn't brought in enough. Calvin Ashley is a 5-star, but he redshirted last year.
Yeah.
You know, how often do you see a 5-star redshirt along a position of need? Not a whole lot.
Well, Markwell Harrell and Mike Horton are both guys that could play, that are going to play guard, that have a lot of experience. I feel pretty comfortable with those guys. Prince Tega, he better get a lot better.
And didn't Prodarius Ham have a medical issue as well?
He had
survived
cancer as well. Yeah.
And I know that Austin Troxell had a pretty devastating injury, so he's coming back from that. We've already talked about Tayshawn. I mean, I'm just saying your 10 deep offensive line, there's a lot of issues. There are a lot of question marks.
No doubt. Up against the break here. Don't go anywhere. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
New year, new you.
It's the Start Something New sales event going on now at Bice Motors in Alex City.
It's cold outside,
but the deals are hot inside.
Save up to $13,000 on remaining 2017 Ram 1500 Crew Cab Laramie 4x4.
If you ain't happy,
ain't nobody happy.
2018 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Package, only $19,700.
On the web at BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Now is the best time to see the good guys the locals know, Alex City Marine. With last year being our best year yet, Landau Pontoons has increased Alex City Marine's allocation of Landaus for the 17 season. Our Suzuki outboard selections are at an all-time high. Alex City Marine is now also Lake Martin's exclusive Manitou pontoon dealer with a full line of the luxurious Manitou Tri-Tune with patented V-Tune technology for top performance. Get the best selection now of Landau and Manitou pontoons. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin.
Needing extra space at your house? Check out Easy Storage Units on Tallapoosa Street, 1 mile from downtown Alex City. With state-of-the-art 24-hour surveillance, you can rest easy knowing all of your possessions will be safe and secure. Easy Storage has any size unit you need, from 5x10s up to 10x20s. Call Easy Storage today at 256-794-8223 to rent your unit today. That's Easy Storage, 256-794-8223.
What's better than a one-day sale? The President's Day event all month long at the new Tony Serra Ford of Silicaga. 2017 Ford Fiesta now $12,987. 2017 Super Cab now $25,987. Hurry to Tony Serra Ford. Customers first.
Whether it's a dream house or corporate real estate, Concrete has the skill, expertise, and talent to exceed your expectations. Trust Concrete to build a foundation for your future. Our work ethic and dedication are always in keeping the competition on their toes. We specialize in residential and commercial development in the Coosa, Talladega, and Shelby County areas. Call us today for your next project, 256-245-4211, or check us out on the web at con-crete.com.
What's better than a one-day sale? The President's Day event all month long at the new Tony Serra Ford of Silicaga. 2017 Ford Fiesta now $12,987. 2017 Super Cab now $25,987. Hurry to Tony Serra Ford. Customers first.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Peaches and Clean, caring for your floors and a whole lot more in East Central Alabama.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you for about 45 more minutes in this evening's show. Alabama begins their spring practice on the 20th. It'll go through April 21st. Luke, what are some of the biggest questions that you have going into spring in Tuscaloosa?
I think the biggest question that's not really a question is who's going to be the quarterback. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be Tua Tagovailoa. I mean,
Is it going to be an honest competition?
yeah, I think it will be an honest competition
Or
because
a
I can tell
token
you,
competition?
I believe the one opinion that matters is Nick Saban's. And
Do you
I
believe there's a chance that they play two quarterbacks?
Yes, in a sense, not in the Steve Spurrier sense.
In the Wildcat sense?
Yeah, in a sense that Jalen Hurts would be heck to deal with as a Wildcat quarterback. He was essentially a Wildcat quarterback as it was. But I think we just, again, you could say Tua was a one-hit wonder. He comes in second half and does his thing. That's fine. But I've seen the kid in practice, and I can tell you that's just how he is. That's just how he looks. He's a better passer. And there's no, I think Jalen would admit that, right? I mean, it's hard not to admit that. Now, 27-2, Jalen is a quiet leader, not a me-first guy. I love him. I want a signed autograph jersey from him. I guess I should go to T-Town Menwear and see if they got one. But I think you got to start Tua.
Or some of the other, I mean, attrition, who all?
Defensive backfield.
Totally new coaching staff.
Totally new coaching staff, which I'm not, I mean, it remains to be seen. I've heard this coaching staff is a hybrid of Kerryon Johnson and Cam Petway.
That is a formidable beast.
No, I don't know what to think. I mean, there are a lot of new faces on here, obviously, and he's had more attrition than the Trump administration of late. You know, somebody else just left Trump today, by the way.
It's true.
You know, I shouldn't make fun of it. It's our government. I mean, I'm just saying it's odd to see so many people every day leaving the government. But anywho,
give somebody else a chance to do the job.
Yeah, I think Alabama won a national championship, but they didn't win the SEC, obviously. They didn't beat Auburn, obviously. There's some things that they need to improve on. And so hopefully these new guys can do that. I think the biggest thing to watch in spring practice, besides the quarterback thing, which I don't think is really a thing, I think defensive back and then punter. That may sound silly, but man, if you make me have an all-time Alabama football team, guess who's going on it? J.K. Scott. Now, you can argue Deron Payne, you can argue Amari Cooper and all these other guys in the Saban era. J.K. Scott is as valuable as anybody that Saban has recruited. He was unbelievable. And he killed it at the combine. His broad jump was awesome. I mean, like everything athletically you could do as a punter, he was as good as anybody could be. And so, yeah, Alabama's going to miss him.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And thank the Lord he's gone. The two players I think have been at Alabama for 6 or 7 years, him and the pitcher that they've got on the softball team. That girl has been there for 7, 8 years.
Alexa
Sorio.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's still there this year, right?
Yes.
And she's just a sophomore. No.
Oh, she's.
But J.K. Scott finally gone from Alabama. Auburn bringing in an Aussie punter. We'll hopefully maybe we can catch a little of that magic because, like you said, I mean, look, Alabama's going to win whether they had a good punter or not. But how many games did he aid them as far as flipping the field, as far as pinning the team deep?
Think about how if Alabama, I mean, I know Alabama lost in 2014, but without him against Ohio State, Alabama gets blown out. He was remarkable. He was from Colorado, and he kept kicking the ball as if he were in that high altitude.
Yeah. Something about Colorado kickers.
It really is something about Colorado kickers.
Auburn with the field goal kicker and Alabama with the punter. But if you got any thoughts on spring practice, questions, comments, any of the things, who do you think there is going to be a competition in Tuscaloosa at the quarterback position? Is it going to be another rotation at running back? Or do you think they will settle on?
No, I think Damian Harris will be your starter. And I think it's going to be, what it's going to be kind of like is Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson. where Mark Ingram was your starter, and everybody was salivating to see Trent. And I think it's going to be Damian Harris is going to be your starter, and then Najee will be your backup. Now, Josh Jacobs will get some carries because he's really, really talented. Brian Robinson may get some carries. I don't know. But I think it's going to be Damian and then Najee.
Any concern about Loxley? You like what he does?
Yeah, I mean, again, if Saban's still the head coach, then I'm not going to worry about it all too terribly much. I mean, I think his offensive coordinator relationship with Dable was probably as distant as it was with anybody. And then he had Lane Kiffin for a while, who you couldn't get two more polar opposite personalities. And he won championships with both of those guys. So he won a championship with Jim McElwain, who hadn't done anything but make everybody mad and violate Sharks since.
Yes, he was not popular in the Shark population. Baseball, Auburn and Alabama again. Auburn in action tonight. I meant to look that up. We'll get a score on that.
I've got Auburn. They are trailing 4-2 right now to UAB. It looks like they are through 4.
Okay. So Auburn undefeated, but trailing tonight. Alabama, I think, what did you say? They're
10-2.
10-2.
Lost 2 games to Oklahoma. Oklahoma was very good. They had a tight one and it went into extras in the first game. Alabama got shelled in the second game. And then the third game, Alabama shelled Oklahoma.
Yeah. So and in softball, Alabama had a tough weekend, 2-3, but they did play the number 1 team in the country in Washington, as well as Northwestern. Auburn, I think 23-2, both in action this weekend as SEC play begins. That's when the rubber meets the road as far as softball and baseball concerned, for that matter. Auburn plays a very difficult schedule. They open up with Texas A&M. I think they have to go to Kentucky, who is really good this year. Then I think they play Alabama, I think. May have to go on the road to play them.
Yep.
So, and Auburn softball, the second weekend, Alabama comes to Jane B. Moore Field.
That's right.
To take on Auburn. So,
is that something you're going to go to?
I would like to, but I'm not sure I'll make it to the softball. I'm gonna try. I may try to get to Tuscaloosa though and watch a baseball game, because from what I've heard that it's a very, very nice park that they've built out there, and this might be the time to go.
Well, SEC softball is so outstanding. I mean, Tennessee is 21-1, South Carolina is 19-1, Florida's 19-1, Georgia's 18-1, Auburn's 23-2, LSU 19-2, Arkansas 16-2. A&M 19-3, Mississippi State 16-3. And then Kentucky is 15-3, as you said. They've won 10 in a row though, and Alabama is 12-5, and still probably one of the better teams in the country. They've just played a pretty tough schedule and lost to Washington and who was the other one? Northwestern. I mean, pretty good team. So, and then the worst team in the conference is Missouri at 16-7, and they've won 6 in a row.
Up against a break here. Don't go anywhere. More to come on this edition of Sports Blitz Live right after this.
The door's open, the beer's cold, and the biscuits are hot at Foshee Sportz on Dable Road in Alexander City. Fishing season is in year-round and live bait is available. Non-ethanol gas is available along with propane and pellet ice. So come on by and see what we're all about, where the kitchen is open Monday through Friday early at Foshee Sportz on Dable Road in Alexander City. And tell them old Katie sent you right here from the front porch, WAXC TV.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cast aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
Good night, boss.
See ya.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
When you're a business owner, your mind is always on the job.
Anything before I go?
All set.
So is ours. At Frankenmuth Insurance, our independent agents work with you to customize coverage, improve safety, and help prevent losses. Let us take some of the work off your plate. Start a frank conversation with your local agent.
LMG Advertising Agency offers a comprehensive marketing solution tailored to each of our clients' needs. We are a full-service marketing firm offering website design and development, video production, social media marketing, search engine optimization, and overall branding that includes logo design, brochures, mailouts, and more. Our experienced team of marketing professionals would love to come up with a marketing strategy that will deliver results for you and your business. Learn more at lmgadagency.com or call today to start at 256-825-0197.
Whether it's a walk-off home run, a game-winning touchdown, or a buzzer beater, make sure Jay's Sports Grill is in your lineup. Located in downtown Sylacauga and a short drive from Highway 280, Jay's has the food you're looking for. Whether it's wings, fingers, burgers, or salads, they have it all. Come bring your family for a great meal, come hang out with your friends for the big game, or call them at 256-207-0700 to place your order. Make sure Jay's Sports Grill is in your lineup.
Lex Wedgeworth has been the most trusted pest control company for a generation, and now we're proud to announce our new name, EnviroCare. You can expect the same high standards for all your pest control needs, and EnviroCare's exclusive Sentricon termite colony elimination system that provides the industry standard to protect your home or business. The EnviroCare Sentricon termite protection protects your home year-round. Call the professionals of EnviroCare throughout Central East Alabama. Call for a free estimate. Nobody cares like EnviroCare, the next generation of full pest control for your home or business.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. About 30 more minutes left in tonight's program. Andy and Luke taking you up to 9 o'clock. 2005, NBA and David Stern announced that there would be an age limit on NBA basketball. Again, an NBA rule that was hammered out during the collective bargaining agreement. Not a college rule, but you had to be 19 or at least 1 year removed from high school to be eligible for the draft. This was kind of celebrated as a victory. I think we can all say that it just hasn't worked.
No,
I think it's been detrimental to both sports.
I think it has definitely been detrimental because if you're a high school kid, for the most part, you probably look at it like if you're good enough, you're not going to improve your stock by going to college, but you have to go. So you go and you sort of just waltz through it, Ben Simmons style. Or everybody knows you're going. And again, I love the kid and I think he's great, but Colin Sexton every now and again has had his teammates looking around just watching him. Now, maybe some of that's their fault, maybe some of that's Adrian Johnson's fault, but I think that is the case. It's probably helped some other kids who maybe weren't quite as ballyhooed coming out of high school, and then they go 1 year and they tear it up as a freshman, maybe. But the only way I know to fix this thing is say, okay, you can come out and do it baseball style. I don't think you can do it. You can go back to the old way where they just come out of high school, then I think you're going to have the same problem that you've got now, except you have more kids going out straight out of high school, and then you have some others still going after 1 year. And there are people who say, hey, these kids should be allowed to make money whenever they want to. And it's hard to fault that. I'm just saying I'm trying to save the sport, and it's hard to be for the greater good. It's easy to be for the greater good when you're not the one sacrificing. If you're this year's Kobe Bryant and they say, okay, and now you can either come out right now or you can you have to stay for 3 years. You're probably going to say, I'm coming out right now. I'm not waiting 3 years.
Well, I mean, Adam Silver and the current administration of the NBA looking to maybe change that rule, looking to get involved with some outstanding high school players while they're in high school and offer them an opportunity maybe to come out in an alternative to college, basically putting more money into the G League, kind of building it up, making it more of a minor league system to give kids an option where they can come out and make some real money, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in this G League right out of high school. Do you think minor league is the answer to the problem?
No, and I think what we're going to see here probably very shortly is just it's going to be college sports in general may be unrecognizable. It's going to be very difficult to continue down this, and we all kind of know it's a farce. I mean, the North Carolina basketball, nobody's taking any classes. And do you think that's only going on at North Carolina? Randy and Brett love to be up here every day at lunch on the Auburn Blitz and say, well, okay, Bruce Pearl's doing this. Do you think it's not going on anywhere else? Do you think it's just North Carolina? It's everywhere. It's Alabama, it's Auburn, it's LSU. There are some kids that are taking all the classes in the world and doing all the right things. That's fine. But there's some that aren't. And I think that we all are okay with that. I'm really okay with that. If you take a bunch of crip courses, if you feel like the NFL is your path to make riches, or the NBA, I'm really okay with that. College is there to help you get an education, but also to enrich your life in the sense of you to have your career. And if you know your career is going to be in basketball or football or baseball or soccer or whatever, I'm okay with you taking the bare minimum to get by to do that.
Well, look, and I look at this a little bit differently because, we're talking about, like you say, I mean, college sports may look differently down the road than it has ever looked before. But, I'm an Auburn fan. Look, if you want to create a minor league and you want to funnel the best talent right out of high school into that, and that takes away from the talent of what college is, I'm still going to go to Auburn games. I'm still going to cheer for Auburn. I'm not all of a sudden going to become a fan of this minor league team. I mean, it doesn't matter what the level is as far as college is concerned. Let me say
this. Yeah, it's going to matter a little bit. Look.
Not to me, as long as it's a level, it's the same level. Everybody's on the same level.
All right, for instance, in 2012, you weren't going to every Auburn game. In 2013, you were going to every time you could get a ticket.
I went to every game in 12.
Okay, you are the exception to the rule.
Well, there was about 50,000 other people there.
No, I watched the Texas A&M game. There weren't 50,000 people there.
They were there when it started.
No.
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
You're just telling stories.
There was 50,000 people there, I promise.
Okay.
The upper decks may not have been full, but the bowl was pretty full.
May not have been full. But anywho, the point is,
But that's because you're getting beat 70-6. If it was a level playing field and you were competitive,
but
it'd
see,
still
what's
be
going to
as
happen
fun.
though, Andy, is, and again, if in that scenario, if you have the best go to your G League or whatever it's going to be called, then your second best will go to Kentucky and Kansas and UCLA and Michigan State and whatever, and then Alabama and Auburn are going to get the fourth and fifth best. Every now and again they'll reach up there and grab one, but for the most part they're going to get whatever Kentucky and Kansas and Michigan State don't want. And so the quality is going to go down. Well, because the overall quality will go down. And so, again, it can't not have an effect.
Well, it may go back to actually better basketball.
I mean, maybe. But nobody really goes to the game to see a lot of fundamental basketball. We go there to watch you splash threes from NBA range, and we go to watch you dunk. We go to watch you win.
If you go to watch you win.
But if everybody's playing the same fundamental basketball, Hickory High School style, it's not going to be quite the exciting game. That's not what is sold to us.
Hickory won the championship, by the way.
I know, but you get what I'm saying. Look, I'm telling you, it's harder to sell a lot of Hickory High School.
I get it. I understand that, but I'm just telling you, I think there's more people out there that that understand and would say, look, I'm okay. I'm a fan of this school. That's who I support.
I think there are less of those people than you think. I think there are plenty of them that love to say that, but as soon as your team starts not doing as well or the quality is lesser on the field, they say, I've got some other things I want to do with my Saturday or Wednesday night. I think that's what happens. Look, again, I go back to, man, earlier this year when Auburn was kicking butt, they still weren't filling it up. It wasn't until just late that they were filling it up basketball-wise. Because they couldn't trust the basketball team. They've been hurt so much. Same way with Alabama. I mean, I've seen a bunch of times you can go to Auburn and they're giving away tickets.
I am aware.
Giving them away. Please take this.
Those. I've received some.
So it's if the quality is high, they will attend. If the quality is mediocre,
it's comparative though. Comparative to what everybody else. As far as the level.
Again, I think that if the overall quality decreases, and it's not, I think it's going to be more exponential than you think. If the 5 stars, if there are 25 stars every year, and 15 of them go to the G League, and then those other 5 are spread out amongst the big boys, along with the next 44 stars, then you move down, there begins to be a gap that's bigger than just number 1 player to number 3 player. There becomes a cavernous gap in there somewhere that makes it more exponential, that'll make the quality go down. I believe that.
We're up against a break. Don't go anywhere. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Is our number 1 concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's Trane dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our number 1 concern. Call 234-5052 and we're there for you.
Friday. The weekend. Time for an online movie marathon and bottle of rosé? No. Tonight, you're gonna do whatever the wild you want. You go here, Wild Wing Cafe. They've got live music on stage and no cover. Your breaking sad binge must wait another day. This is just the wild you need. So go wild, Boo Bear and Honey Bunches. Wild Wing Cafe is here.
Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gills. Selection and price, got to get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills. Cars that fit your budget. Service that no one around can beat. Stop by today and test drive the vehicle of your dreams. Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you, gotta get to Gills. Selection and price, gotta get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills.
East Central Alabama asked for it, and Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoors has answered with the region's full-service Mahindra Tractor and UTV dealer on Highway 280 in Alex City next to Tallapoosa Ford. Full lines of Mahindra Tractor, E-Max, Max 1500 Series to 5500 Series. We have the world's #1 tractor line. Get the job done as well with full lines of the world's toughest UTVs and accessories. Visit the all-new Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor in Alex City. True grit never taps out with Mahindra Tractors, UTVs, and accessories.
What do you see when you think about your future?
Do you see determination that keeps you going, that helps you make a difference in your world?
Do you see challenges that make you stronger?
Southern Union State Community College realizes that your opportunities for greatness are unlimited. Your journey has just begun.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do-It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do-It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Just a couple of more segments in this evening's program. Andy and Luke here taking you up to 9 o'clock. What's on your mind this evening? 256-234-6221. We're talking about the SEC basketball tournament, which will begin on Wednesday in the first hour of this evening's program, talking about the seeding of the SEC. Still 8 teams apparently in, according to Joe Lunardi, although he talked to some other people that is shrinking.
Quickly, maybe.
That is.
What do you think about the tournament being in St. Louis?
I'm okay with it. I mean, let's spread it around.
But I mean, that is Southeastern the same way Columbus, Ohio is the Eastern Seaboard, isn't it? I mean,
well, I mean, we welcome Missouri in.
I understand. I get that. I'm just saying, look, because we welcome Missouri in doesn't mean we have to play at their house.
Why not?
Well, I mean,
they ought to have to host.
I mean, I would say do the thing in Atlanta or Nashville every year. I don't want it in Florida again. We did it in Tampa, and that was just a mistake. We did it in Orlando one year, and that was a mistake, if you ask me, because I went to the championship game between Alabama and Ole Miss, and nobody was there but us. I don't want to do it necessarily. I mean, New Orleans I could live with just because of the tourist destination and the allure of it all, but Nashville to me makes the most sense right now. It seems like the most centralized location of them all, and it's also got a fantastic facility. It's a home thing for Vandy, and it'd be a home thing for Vandy all the time. But I mean, Atlanta's a home thing for Georgia for the most part, and it's not like it's helped them to a bevy of SEC tournament titles.
No, they did win the one with the tornado, right?
Yeah, they did win that one. Yeah, but it's also home to the SEC championship game in football, and they won it this year. But it's not like they've been winning them every year.
No, that's for sure.
I just look at it like it's got to be somewhere, and St. Louis doesn't say Southeast to me. Nashville is the new Atlanta, or if you want to put it in the old Atlanta, regular Atlanta, that's fine.
Well, yeah, I'm okay with them. It's like SEC Media Days. It's going to start moving around now.
I know, and I don't really like that either. Not because I don't care if it's in Birmingham. I want it to be in Birmingham because I'm sort of a semi-Birmingham guy now, but I want it to be in Birmingham just because we're closer to it. But if it's in Atlanta at the Hall of Fame or something, that's fine. But let's just pick a spot. Let's pick a spot.
You don't want it rotating. You want it
I don't want any rotations.
Stay stationary.
Yeah.
Well,
levels.
Yeah.
Another Seinfeld reference.
Carpeted with pillows.
Yeah.
Anyway. I don't know. That was a good topic. I'm out though.
Is St. Louis. Well, I mean, if you're going to do it in St. Louis, then why not do it in Houston? I mean, Texas A&M's in it.
Yeah, but Texas A&M's not in Houston.
No, but they're very close. And Missouri's not in St. Louis.
Well,
University of Missouri's not.
No, there's not. That's true.
So, I mean, Houston's pretty close to College Station. That's where you fly to get to College Station.
I'm all for it. Do it.
But that's what I'm saying. That is obviously Southwest. That is obviously Southwest. And so I understand Texas A&M is in our conference or whatever, but they need to be more thankful to be in our conference. They need to come to us more often, them and Missouri.
That's probably a good point.
Speaking of that, along those same lines,
Okay.
I listened to your old show, Sportz Call today.
Okay.
And there were a couple of callers advocating Auburn's abandoning the SEC over this egregious, unnaming of Mustafa Heron. Snub of Coach Pearl.
Leaving the SEC because of it.
Well, he said, the couple of the callers said this is an epidemic in terms of
tantamount to slap in the face.
It is. It's they said they go back to Cam Newton not being named Athlete of the Year over some tennis player from Tennessee. And again, I would have voted for Cam Newton. I understand it, but I go back to Cam Newton should have also been the runaway Heisman winner that year. He wasn't because several people left him off the ballots because there was a cloud. There is a cloud over Pearl right now, and that's why some people have done this. And also, I don't think there's a cloud over Mustafa Heron necessarily. I don't know why he was left off. But I don't think the SEC is out to get Auburn. I don't think anything like that.
Of course they are, Luke.
Maybe. I mean, you guys chill with the tinfoil. But I'm just saying I think that there's an easier explanation than that. And no, I don't think Auburn would leave the SEC no matter what. They get a lot of money to be right here, right where they are. And they can't get any more money from anybody else.
No.
Nobody.
No.
Nobody else. Everybody wants to be in our league, by the way. I mean, you don't just everybody wants to be in the SEC, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
Well, look, the answer to all your questions is win. You know, look, I mean, the object or the answer is not to leave the league. The answer is not to get upset. The answer is not to poke your lip out. The answer is to win.
That's right.
If you win, you shut everybody else up, and you basically, in a sense, give them the finger.
I'm going to say again, this played right in Auburn's hands. Anybody that's out there laughing that Bruce Pearl didn't get Coach of the Year, if you're not an Auburn fan, this is playing right into their hands. This gives Bruce Pearl the motivation he needs to kickstart this team. I mean, frankly, Auburn may have been on fumes a little bit coming down the stretch, only 7 scholarship players, and they won the piece of the championship. It's hard to come down from that euphoria sometimes, and now they have another, disrespectful act that they can use as motivation. I think it plays right in Auburn's hands. I think this makes them much more of a threat than they were before 11 o'clock this morning.
Oh, yeah, I do too. I think, I was looking at it like lose to Texas A&M, or Alabama. I know everybody's going to be rooting for Auburn. I know everybody, you can't watch Alabama or Auburn play if you're a fan and not want them to win. But if you lose that game, you're like,
I got some rest.
Okay. That's fine and good. Now, like you said, I mean, there'll probably be a little bit more to it than that, especially if it's Alabama. But if it's Texas A&M, I would imagine Auburn's going to put some maximum effort into it.
I agree. I think this plays right into Auburn's hands. I think it does. I mean, in a way,
and Pearl started setting this up the moments after that South Carolina win.
Yeah.
Saying, look, I understand this is what it's going to be. That's going to be the biggest upset. No matter who we play, it's going to be like, well, that's going to be the biggest upset.
It's also been very weird as an SEC fan this whole year, basketball-wise. A lot of the coaches have taken to Twitter. They've all said some weird things. Frank Martin has been almost over the top nice to every team he can play, especially Auburn.
Well, the man almost died a couple of years ago.
And maybe it's one of those live like you're dying things with Tim McGraw, because he goes to great lengths to appreciate everybody and everything, and it's great, and I think it's cool, but it's just odd to see an SEC coach doing these things.
And him in particular. Up against the break here. We'll come back. We'll close out the show. More to come right after this.
Clearing out all the 2017 models at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. Payments as low as $199 per month and 2 years of free maintenance with every Nissan purchase now through September 30th. But only at Lynch Nissan. Shop now at lynchnissan.com. Got your eye on a new Nissan? Get to Lynch Nissan of Auburn right now for your best deal. Save up to $8,500 off MSRP. Plus, get 2 years free maintenance on every new Nissan now through September 30th. Exclusively at lynchnissan.com.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
When you're born, you're really young. You're like 0 years old. My grandma tells me to quit growing up so fast. But what can I do about it? My mom keeps throwing me birthday parties.
Russell Medical, comprehensive care in your corner of the world.
Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. At Walls, you'll find a dedicated staff offering top quality service from routine maintenance to a full engine overhaul and everything in between. Brian Walls and the folks at Walls Tire are local folks that you know, and they provide the best service always at a fair price. Find out what the rest of the Lake Martin area already knows. Walls Tire is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. Just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Hyundai of Auburn. You owe it to yourself. Call Hyundai of Auburn today at 334-321-0777 and visit them online at HyundaiofAuburn.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of Sports Blitz Live on this Tuesday evening. Just about 5 more minutes left in tonight's program. As we were talking about, South Carolina coach Frank Martin. He, I remember watching him at Kansas State and thinking that guy is angry.
He's got a very he had a very different outlook on life, I'd say, back then. I mean, I remember, I'm like you. What was it Bruce Banner said in the Avengers when he said, "That's my secret. I'm always angry," before he turned into the Hulk?
Yeah.
And I think that's Frank Martin. Do you know
he is built like a freight train.
He is. He and Anthony Grant are like best friends.
Really?
I mean, super tight. I mean, really tight buddies. And so that's just a thing.
He had some glowing things to say about Auburn after Saturday's game, talking about the atmosphere. And, I've heard, guys on ESPN talking about.
He tweeted to Anthony McLemore when he got hurt.
He did.
Anthony McLemore.
And didn't realize that was, then of course this story, I saw him, I listened to an interview he did on Feinbaum yesterday. And he was talking about, saying at the beginning, they asked him to talk about it, and he said no. But then he came back and said, I probably ought to. And if you hadn't seen that on ESPN, on Sports Center,
it's good.
Near-death experience that he went through, he looked. I mean, it sounded like he's a changed man.
Yeah, but
how could you not be?
Yeah, I mean, he had nowhere to go but less angry. He had hit the ceiling of, right before you start turning red and seeing red. Like he was right at that point all the time. It looked like at Kansas State, but I mean, look, he's a heck of a coach. He took South Carolina to a Final Four. That's hard to beat.
Yeah.
And so he will always have a job.
Yeah. He started out as a high school coach too, down in Florida. Did a good job there, and again, one of those guys paid his dues, climbed up the corporate ladder, as it were.
I'm going to say, I got to say one other thing. Our producer came out during while we're off TV, but still on Facebook Live, and said the female caller that calls all the time and usually jumps my case and heaps praise on you, and you deserve it.
Oh yeah,
you are fabulous. I know that. Tremendous. Steal a word from our
take
president.
Fabulous.
But look, and I'm not sure what her name is. She's called in several times, and we don't know her name. She's called in, and she has actually cussed me a time or two. But if I wasn't on here for you to dislike me, you might love Andy a little less. So maybe we can look at it like I'm bringing.
Luke does make me look like a nice guy.
I make him look like a nicer guy. Maybe.
I don't think it's in question.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, I can't tell if I'm really that bad of a person or if I'm totally misunderstood. And I think that's my own self-consciousness, like getting on to me. But man, this whole Alabama-Auburn thing, living too close to Auburn for me is tough. It's tough.
Well, living in this state for an Auburn fan.
I get it, but you're in your safe zone around these parts. You're in your safe zone.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, you're on the fringe, but you're in your safe zone. Atlantic City's an Auburn town. You know this.
Yeah.
You know this.
Yeah, it's at best, I'd say, 55-45.
Come on, man. It's like 55,000 at that Texas A&M game. Come on, man. You just go to telling
stories. You like to exaggerate the numbers, Luke. We appreciate all of you out there so much joining us on this Tuesday evening. We are back on the air next week, same time, same channel. Be sure to join us then. For Ryan Fuller, for Luke Robinson, I'm Andy Graham saying so long for now, everybody. We'll talk again soon.